Well, hello again. You seem to be doing all right. Need anything forged? Zen's fortress is an old proving grounds built by the ancient gods. It is the only route leading to the great Anor Londo. Of course, most fools can't even find their way into that fortified death trap. But they won't stop trying. Take that bumbling Saranyan. I know little of the Darkroot Garden, although I've heard rumors of a divine blacksmith who resides there. Those who get stumped in the catacombs seek him for divine weapons. I know little of... I'll be seeing you then. Be careful out there.
Hello everybody, my name is Michael and welcome back to Dark Souls 1. Today we're going to continue on with the rest of Darkroot Basin and Garden. I don't know exactly where we're going to end up, where we're going to continue, but I do know that I want to cack this filthy Titanite demon before we go down there, because he is a pain in my balls. Come on, you son of a bitch. Love the range on this thing. This guy is considerably easier than the one in the catacombs. We could probably take this guy with just a +5. And you'll notice that he has no head. I'm not exactly up on the lore of the Titanite demons. I don't know what they're, what exactly they are or why they exist. I mean, are they just made of that divine material, or does the material come from them? Although I do know that that smash attack that he's using is very dangerous and can skewer you, essentially, and get you caught up in it. The weapon that the Titanite demon uses is called a man-catcher. I remember first hearing about this thing in Dungeons and Dragons. And what this weapon was is essentially it's a historical weapon that we used to take people, to kidnap people in a non-lethal encounter that you were engaging with them. I didn't get it. You can get that as a drop. And the man-capture was used as a way to kidnap nobles and drag them off so you could ransom them later. And that was a major way of making funds back in the olden days. Now, let's continue over here. And I do remember also in Dungeons and Dragons that the man-catcher was the official weapon of clerics, the favored weapon of clerics that chose the goddess of love as their patron deity. Because, it was the goddess of love and they didn't want to hurt anyone, so you could just sort of kidnap them and grab them. I don't know if that could practically work out very often in a Dungeons and Dragons game. That seems more like a specialty mission to use a man-catcher on somebody, but, well, there you go. Now, we are going to be going down here to take care of someone that usually I go after right away, but as usual with these playthroughs, I get sort of caught up in talking about certain things and going to certain places, and there's sort of a time limit. I try to keep these episodes at about a half an hour, but sometimes it spills over and they end up being 45 minutes or an hour or something, and it gets crazy, and I just can't go back and do everything. But usually I take care of this guy very quickly at the beginning part of the game, but I was not able to. I'm going to go down here to this bonfire. This is going to be a little bit more of a useful bonfire for us for this, and then just head up and kill him. This guy is named Havel the Rock, and he is another iconic part of the Dark Souls world. His armor is some of the most amazing armor I've ever seen. I don't usually like wearing it, and we can get it later on in the game. It is big, heavy, clunky armor that the description says was literally carved out of a boulder. You're essentially wearing a boulder when you put this stuff on, and that's pretty amazing. And the reason that we want to go and kill him is because he has a very special ring that is the most important ring in the entire game, because it allows you to increase by a huge amount your equip burden. And with your equip burden so raised, you can become, well, your entire playstyle can change. Now, when we go in there, he is very, very strong, and I'm going to try to parry him or backstab him, but he could easily kill us in one hit. So, yeah, I may have to cut back here. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I believe I don't remember what key it is, opens that door, but I know the master key does. I'm not trying to remember what key that is. He has a huge club called the Dragon's Tooth, and an enormous tower shield called Havel Shield. And it requires 50 strength to use that shield. And you can eventually get it later on in the game. Oh my god, I got a partial parry, and I'm still alive. How the hell did that happen? I love how he's blocking with that. It looks kind of cool. I took a risk there because I could barely see, really. That was what is called a roll-backstab, which means I deliberately try to do a roll in order to backstab him there. Self-explanatory, really, but it's somewhat difficult to master. In Demon Souls, roll-backstabbing was an essential part of your repertoire and was far easier because I think your character felt sort of floatier in that game, I guess you could say. In Demon Souls. And in Dark Souls 2, it got very hard to roll backstab. Ooh. I wasn't even able to get that backstab. Damn. Come on. There are other ways to come and kill him. Remember in the last episode we picked up that thing called the Dung Pie, which can make people turn toxic? I believe Havel can be made toxic. So if you want to do that and kill him quickly, you can. And also, you can chase him up these stairs and get him to fall off the top, because at the very top of this is where the Taurus demon is in the Undead Burg up there, and you can get him to sort of, you can knock him off, and he can fall to his death, or you can do it repeatedly and he'll gradually fall to his death. So, yeah, that's an incredibly cool weapon there, and I'm actually going to put Havel's ring on, and you see our equip load is 88.5. Without the ring, it's 59, so it raises it by a hell of a lot. I'm going to keep the rusted iron ring on for the next thing that we're going to do. See if I can get some extra stuff here. Finally get the Wanderer coat that I want. But still the Thief mask, and maybe... Do I have Boulder gauntlets? Can I wear this in fast roll? Yes, I can. So I think I look pretty cool here. And we're going to continue out here and fight the Hydra. Now, the Hydra is not something you have to fight. Again, I got confused, and I was bashing my head against the walls in this game, and I thought, well, it's here, I have to do it. And I stupidly, fought this enemy to exhaustion, because I felt, it's right here, I have to fight it eventually. But you don't have to fight it at this stage in the game, and you should probably come back when you have a decent weapon. You don't need to do this right now for any reason at all. There is the knight armor over there, and you do get access to some spells, but it's not tremendously important right now. These guys are called crystal golems, and they were made by one of the four lords. This is Seath the Scaleless, the inventor of sorcery. What exactly they're doing here, I don't know. I don't know why they are here. The channelers that we fought earlier, one of them, he is also part of Seath's posse of magically inclined wackos. I don't know what they're doing down here. I do know, however, that these guys are incredibly resilient to magic, just like golems would be in Dungeons & Dragons. So if you come in here and try to use sorceries on them, you are going to die very quickly. And back there we just saw our first glimpse of the Hydra, or rather the Hydra's attack there. He spits out these giant gobs of water out at you. They have a very long range. They can get out to essentially where I am now. And they're very, very powerful. And they can also damage the golems. So you can get the Hydra there to damage the golems instead of having to fight them. Although, if you can't defeat the golems, you're likely not going to be able to defeat the Hydra. So I don't know if there's a tremendous amount of point to that, especially because you can lure them all out with a bow and just hit them over here, but whatever. The Hydra fight is one that really, really tore at me in the first part of in my first playthrough, because I just didn't understand how you were supposed to go about it. I didn't really realize that you were supposed to... I don't know if I should wait to tell you that, well, the Hydra is sitting in a pool of water over there, if you can just barely see it. And he's sort of... I don't know where those... The water he's shooting at you come from, is just sucking it up and spitting it out at you, or if it's magical water or something. I don't know. But he is actually inside a pit, sort of a lake, and there's a small area, a ring around it, that you can walk on, and it's normal, as long as it's normal as long as you have the rusted iron ring. But when you actually get in there, you can't get too close to the Hydra or you'll fall in the lake. And what you have to do, I originally thought maybe I could use ranged against him, but that really doesn't work very well until the very end. I'll try to show you the part, but the point is you cannot get too close to the Hydra. I don't know if you can make it out here, but you see the edge there? There's an edge in the water there. And if you get too close to it, you die. And you have to wait for him to get close, and then he'll use his melee attack, and then you can hit him when he stretches his heads out here. And you see, I'm getting hit even with my shield up, because of the peculiar way the damage is. It's not like a sword hitting you, it's sort of a blob of water that's coming at you. So, you see, I really took a hit there. That was shit. Just equipping some humanity there in case I need some extra health. I really should have toasted up that bonfire down there, and you gotta make sure not to go too close to the edge. When I originally fought this, I died like crazy simply getting too close to it. I wasn't constantly watching it, but now I am, thankfully, and I can, keep aware of it. Can you see the edge there? Just barely make it out. Comes right to me. There you go. And there's 3 more heads. Good. That item there is just the knight's armor, the starting equipment for the knight, but the elite knight armor is superior, so that's not all that important. It's weird that you can get it in the same place, the knight armor and the special version of the knight armor. Now, I think when we've got him down to these 2, maybe I need to wait for 1. We can hit them with the bow and take them out that way. There we go. Maybe. Now this one I don't believe can hit me with his physical attacks at this point. I don't even know if he can hit me with his magical attacks. So I'm just going to use my bow. It's very hard to hit this guy physically because, in melee rather than ranged, because I'd have to get so darn close to him that I might fall off the edge. So I'm just going to finish him off with the bow. I thought initially that you should just do the entire fight with a bow, but that was stupid, and that wouldn't have that wasn't working. So I spent God knows how much time trying to fight this guy this way. There we go, and once all the heads are gone, he's dead. I have a dragon scale, the Dusk crown ring, the knight armor. Let's just see over here. Where is that? It's going to pop on the humanity here. Let's take a look at that Dusk Crown ring. Grants extra sorcery castings, but halves HP. So you get more sorcery to cast, but your HP goes down by 50%. That doesn't sound like a good trade-off to me. You'd have to be a heavily committed sorcery character to do that, and I don't know. That sounds kind of crazy. I don't know about that. Let me just see if he's over here, or if we're going to have to quit and reload the game. No. Okay, there's an enemy that will spawn there once you have defeated the Hydra, but I believe you have to go back and rest at a bonfire to do it, or quit and reload the game. I'm kind of scared about quitting and reloading the game, because I've done that before, and I respawned here, and the Hydra was back. I swear to God this happened. So I hope this isn't going to happen. I'm going to quit and reload and see what goes on. Please don't respawn. Please don't respawn. That really threw me for a loop, because I don't want to go rest at the bonfire, because then I'd have to fight all of the crystal guys again. Even though it's kind of hard for them to chase you all the way out there in the water, I still don't want to have them coming after me. And I want to test this again with this frickin' crap, because I've seen other people quit and reload, and, it was fine. They didn't have to go through that garbage again. And I already got the dragon scale and everything, so I don't know. Let's see. Fingers crossed, right? What is going to spawn over there is a golden... Oh, good, he's not there. Golden crystal golem. And there's a very interesting secret about him. He is also a much tougher version, obviously, in the old rules of video gaming of color-coding enemies. He is a very tough, enemy. There we go. Because he's a very tough enemy because his color is different than the other ones. Just like the Foot Clan, you have to color-code your enemies. Come on. Yeah, I think the other ones on an R1 I was getting 2 something. And this guy I'm only getting 145. Oh. Come on. Come on, you abomination. And watch, watch, watch. Yep, you see that? There was actually a woman trapped inside the golem, somehow.
So, 'tis thou who rescueth me. Most gracious, I am deeply obliged. I am Dusk of Oolacile. I cometh from an age long before thine. I cannot stay here for long. So, before I disappear, allow me to ask one thing. My home, Oolacile, is the home of ancient sorceries. My hope is to pass this profound knowledge to thee, with thine approval. Would this be of assistance to thee? My heartfelt thanks. I am pleased beyond words. Then I shout, engrave my signature. If thou art in need, pray summon me from my signature. It seems that my time is done. May the great flames guide thee.
So she's disappeared, and her summon sign will now appear at the place where the elite knight, or rather where the knight armor by the Hydra was, and we can now summon her. Uniquely, you do not have to be alive in order to summon her. You can just do it whenever. And I would highly recommend, by the way, to kill all of the Golem guys. That's the other reason why I didn't want to do this and rest at the bonfire, because I'd have to kill all the Golem guys again. I don't want to do that. So let us head over here. There's her summon sign. And you don't need to press OK. She just automatically is summoned.
I am Dusk of Oolacile. It is an honor to see thee again. I shall follow thine wishes. For a very long time, I was trapped within the crystal golem. From my home I was taken and banished to a plane of distortion. It was there that thou came to my rescue, long after I had relinquished all hope. So gleeful was I. My faith reneweth. The sorceries of Oolacile differ from the magic of thine age. It is difficult to explain. Oolacile's sorceries are, what doth one say? They're somewhat of an approximation. Thine sorceries are more straightforward, negating all but thyself. Dost thou not find some fascination in these discrepancies? The sorceries of Oolacile.
Okay, well, she will become a merchant for us and sell these items. These are weird sorceries. Hidden Body makes you invisible, or it kind of makes you like the... What was the name of that ring? Was there a ring in Dark Souls 2 that had that? It sort of makes you look like semi-invisible. Cast Light is a very useful spell that allows you to cast a halo of light around you, which negates any use of the skull lantern that we picked up in the last episode in the catacombs. Repair, self-explanatory. It's damn expensive, but it is, well, it is very useful, depending on your build. Chameleon. This is the one that allows you to turn into weird objects. I think I might just buy this one. It'll turn you like into a box if there are boxes nearby to hide with people. Hidden weapon hides the right-hand weapon you have. And the Oolacile Ivory Catalyst is pretty darn good as a catalyst, but I'm not going to buy it right now. I have no need for it. Now, Dusk mentioned here, I'm going to try something. I'm going to try to quit and reload in order to get an item. Yet another item spawns back there that we have to quit and reload. I'll see if I can do that. But Dusk of Oolacile mentions something that relates to a subject that I did not touch on. I reneged on my promise to talk about it. But when we talked to Solaire many episodes ago, he mentioned that time is distorted in this land, and I don't know exactly what that means in terms of the lore. It sounds more like a convenient way to explain summonings, but there's some sort of weird time paradox going on where people from hundreds or thousands of years in the past or future are wandering in to your own land, to our present time somehow. I don't really know how that works exactly. But Dusk is one of those people from a time from hundreds or thousands of years ago. I like to think of it as about 1,000 years before our time. And she uses those weird old-fashioned terms like thee and thou and thine to make her sound more old-timey. And hopefully, if we got lucky, we will be discovering something down here. Maybe? Yes? Possibly? Yes! After you have spoken to her, and I think after you've loaded the game or rested at a bonfire, her equipment will spawn right over here, and you can dress just like Dusk and look like a pretty princess in her Dusk of Oolacile outfit. And you can also get, even if you have no idea of, no desire to dress like a beautiful princess, like this. Even if you don't want to dress like that, you still should come back here and get this, because you can get this item, the Crown of Dusk, and you look even more like a pretty princess, doesn't he? So is that supposed to be Dusk's corpse there? Or I don't understand, because I thought she was over there. But anyway, this thing may seem ridiculous looking, as little feathers or wings on this hat here. But that is actually one of the more useful items in the game, because it automatically increases the damage from your sorceries and pyromancies. And possibly miracles too, I'm not sure. So if you really need to get every last little bit of damage out of your pyromancy or your sorcery or whatever it is, you can put on the Crown of Dusk and that'll bump up your damage a little bit. Now, that we have killed the Hydra, we can actually enter Darkroot Garden through this direction. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to cut back up to Andre of Astora and get the... Well, no, actually, I'm going to cut back up to the door near the hidden bonfire. And when I'm there, we're going to continue on with this section and fight the... Moonlight Butterfly. But until then, I will see you.